Hi guys, this is day 4 of my little liveaboard test. As I mentioned in my previous video, I want to spend the next 10 days aboard to figure out if I want to live aboard on a permanent basis. Now I seem to have caught some kind of bug or something. For the last 2 days I've been feeling just a little bit sorry for myself, and the worst part is I lost my voice, and no voice equals no videos. But hey, never mind. I seem to have gotten my voice back. Or at least some of it. I guess you guys would like to hear how I'm adjusting to life aboard. And the short answer is just fine. With the possible exception of the past 2 days because I've been sick. But even if I would have been back at my house, I would still have been miserable, so that hardly counts. One issue that I do have aboard the boat is condensation. And it is something I'll have to deal with at some point, and I'll get more into that in my next video. As far as heating the boat, there's been no issues at all. The stove has been performing perfectly. Now I should probably mention that it is unseasonably warm right now. It's about 7 degrees outside. But on the other hand, I am running the stove at its lowest possible setting, and it is still plenty warm in here. In one of my upcoming videos, I'll do a quick comparison of what it would cost to heat the boat on a yearly basis versus what I'm paying to heat my house right now. One issue that I have touched on in some of my previous videos is air circulation. Right now it's about 33 degrees up here, and down by the cabin sole it's 17 degrees. That is quite a huge difference. So I've been experimenting with one of those Hella fans to help circulate the air. And the good news is that it is more than capable of circulating the air. The bad news is that it is hella loud. Get it? Hella loud. Okay, never mind. So I'm looking at two possible solutions for that. Either I'm going to go with one of those silent Hella fans, which seem to have a really good reputation, or I'm gonna go with one of those thermic electric fans that you put on top of your wood-burning stove. Before considering one of those, I need to make absolutely sure that the temperature of my reflex stove is within the working range of such a thermic electric fan. So I'll get back to that once I get my hands on my infrared thermometer. It happened again last night. Now, I don't consider myself a lazy guy, but there is something about having to check the fuel level in the small tank that supplies the stove using a dipstick rather than just looking at a gauge. Apparently using the dipstick is just enough of an inconvenience that I'm tempted to start guessing whether or not there is enough diesel in the tank to get through the night. And last night I guessed wrong, so I woke up freezing. Before installing the tank, I put in a tank sender. I've just never gotten around to hooking it up to a gauge. And one of the reasons I've never hooked up the tank sender to a gauge is that I was unable to find the proper way of getting power to the location where the tank is installed. And that's really silly, considering that the wiring that's going to the lamp mounted on the starboard side of the main bulkhead, that's the lamp right here. The wire that's going to that lamp is gauge 15 wire. So that should be more than capable of handling the load of a single LED light and a gauge. I'll point out my concerns as we go along, but for now let's just take a look at what I've got aboard so that we can possibly get some sort of temporary solution in place. If you're ever going to be stripping a large amount of wires, I highly recommend that you get one of these tools. As I recall, it was actually quite cheap and it does a pretty decent job. This is the gauge that I want to use, and I had some of these crimp-on things lying around the boat. I could use these, but I think it's going to be a really messy solution, because how would I go about insulating the positive from the negative side? I guess I could wrap each of them in tape or something, but that would be horrible. Instead, I think I'm going to go with one of these boxes I also had lying around. And these boxes come with these quick snap connection type things. I don't know if those are going to be prone to vibration or not, but judging by how firmly the connector is gripping this wire, I think it's going to be fine. And well, please bear in mind, it is just a temporary solution until I figure out the proper way of doing this. I've just removed two of these plastic tabs and put in these rubber gasket things instead. The space inside the head where the small tank that supplies the diesel stove is mounted is very limited, so I've put together as much of the box as I possibly can before mounting it to the bulkhead. So I'm just going to cut off all of the 12 volt electricity before cutting any wires. Okay, the lighting out here is probably pretty horrible, but right there you'll be able to see the box that I've just put up. I just need to put the lid on. And down here we've got the tank that supplies the stove with diesel, and we've got the tank center unit there in the background. Now that the box is mounted to the bulkhead, all I need to figure out is how to wire this gauge. Oh, that's a lot of paper. Okay. Oh, there's a tiny O-ring here that's, I think it's keeping on this, this backing plate thing. Oh, this looks important. Connect sender wire to this terminal. Warning, if hot wire touches, sender will be damaged. Oh, we don't want that. Okay, this appears to be for lighting the gauge, and I'd actually prefer not to have this gauge be lighted, so I'm not going to hook that up if I can avoid it. So this is the signal from the sender, there's a ground, and then there's an ignition terminal. So I'm guessing this is simply plus, and that's minus, and then that's the, yeah. Okay, let's give it a go. So that should be right. As you can see, I've hooked up the gauge lighting also, and that's just so that you guys can see that it's on a little bit easier, because there's not much light out here. But let's give it a go and switch on the 12 volt. Fingers crossed. Okay, it appears that the gauge is working, and I should probably hurry up and transfer some diesel from the main tank to the small tank. Okay, so the gauge is claiming that the tank is pretty much full now. So let's just go ahead and check that with my trusty old dipstick. Okay, that appears to be correct. Now I just need to get my hands on a piece of plywood in the correct thickness so that I can mount the gauge to the bulkhead. Now I had planned on shooting one more segment for this video, but oh, don't worry, it's just the toilet that's broken. It's been broken for a while, and of course I don't use it while I'm at the marina, but I have the time, so I might as well get started on fixing it, right? But I'm still not feeling all that great, so I'm gonna leave that for another video. Oh, I've started adding items to a list of improvements I consider crucial in order for me to be able to live aboard on a permanent basis. Adding items to a list and keeping it organized seems like a really good idea to make sure that I do take care of the most important issues at first. I'll give you guys a rundown of the list in one of the upcoming videos. Oh, and I won't have time to upload another video before Christmas, so for those of you who celebrate Christmas, I just want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. And being able to connect with you guys is the best Christmas present I could ever imagine, so Merry Christmas, guys. While I'm aboard for the Liveaboard test the next 10 days, I'll do daily updates on Facebook, so if you want those, head over to Sail Life's Facebook page. I'll throw a link in the description and some YouTube annotation thing, and click the like button. Okay guys, that's it for this time. As always, feel free to leave a comment, and if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. See you!